गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा, गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा, मेरे जीवन का अवलंबन है, बस एक यही मेरा बल है। गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा, अज्ञान भरे संशय से भरे विपरीत विचारों से भी भरे मन के अंधकार को दूर करे वचनामृत से तब बोध कृपा। गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा, पल पल पग पग जीवन पथ पर गुरु साथ मेरे रक्षक बनकर बिसरू न कभी यह प्रेममयी आनंदमयी भवदीय कृपा। गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा, मेरे जीवन का अवलंबन है, बस एक यही मेरा बल है। गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा।
That was very melodious. बोलिए सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Hari Om, salutations to all. Thank you Parag ji for this wonderful opportunity. All of you have done, I think, Paduka Puja, and here we are for a satsang. How many of you have heard about Chinmaya mission before? Okay, very good. How many of you have not heard me before? Not heard me. Okay, thank you. Do you know what is the topic of today's satsang? Mental gym. How to make the mind stronger. So why does one go to a gym? To make the body physically strong. Okay. Then, any other reason? To remain fit. Okay.
To build stamina.
Build stamina. Yes. Anything else? For? Emotional resilience. Very good.
For some me time.
For me time. Yeah. To build your immunity. Very good. You don't go to meet people. No, you just go do your exercise and come back. So yes, gym, one way of keeping oneself strong. There may be other methods, so many others that people do. Today, so much of mental health challenges people go through. One of the reasons is that the mind has not been trained enough. Just like the body needs a proper training for fitness, mind also needs proper training. And we have for the physical body so many methods to keep the body fit. And in spite of that, many times we know, but still very few people actually even do things for keeping the body fit. Mind is a different level. Body fitness itself is, if you see, what is fitness, what is flexibility, stamina, one of the most important things that happens, that is needed for the body is that strength training. Many of those things we don't know. And sometimes when we know also, we are not able to dedicate enough time, prioritize it. Reasons can be many. And then as a result of that, what happens? Body has its own challenges. Diseases happen, immunity is low, very soon we catch infection, many things happen. We put on weight, heart issues, it goes on. Imagine at the body level, when we are not able to pay enough attention, there are so many consequences of it. What to talk about the mind? Mind is the most important equipment that we have. What makes us separate or unique in this whole creation from all other species is this ability that we have in our buddhi to think, to be aware, to make conscious choices. So this mind has to be made very strong. What is this mind exactly? If we have to analyze, what is the mind?
Flow of thoughts.
Flow of thoughts. Standard definition. Mind is a flow of thoughts. Continuously the thoughts flow, then we experience the mind. If the thought flow is not there, do we experience the mind? Have you experienced that state any time? Meditation, deep sleep. Satsang also sometimes it happens. They say Nidra Devi has a boon. She resides in satsang. So people come to satsang and now AC environment and all that, Sunday, aram se one can go to sleep. So when the thought flow is there, we experience the mind. Now why is there a need to strengthen this mind? Because this mind is that with which we do everything. Gurudev used to say that mind is a monkey riding on the donkey of the body in the circus of life. So it's a very, very fickle mind. And whatever we want to achieve in life, we have to achieve through this mind. Whether it is professional success, career, spiritual growth, relationships, everything is through this mind. As the mind, so the man. As the man, so the world. So if the mind is not trained, tuned, we can't expect great things to happen. And most of the time what happens is we don't utilize the potentials of this mind at all. See, nowadays we have so many advanced types of equipment. The phones, for example. What all the phone is capable of doing. Sometimes people have the latest phone. iPhone, what is that? 15 Pro Max, let us say. Latest phone. But still, just having the latest phone, is it enough? I should know how to use all the features of that, right? Majority of us, even if we have the most advanced phone, we use it only for some basic things only. Phone calls, emails, maybe a few things on WhatsApp, social media, photographs. But beyond that, nothing much. But it can do so many more things. One equipment. The most sophisticated equipment in the world is human mind. 2000 billion bits of information it processes. But hardly we are aware of a few things. And so this mind has tremendous power and potential. When we learn to tap that, there is so much that we can do. Do you think we use very less part of our brain or we use our full brain? Brain, I am asking. Ask Sunita. She will say full. Brain, we use full brain capacity, not very less. That is something that has been taught to us from childhood. And when we were in school, they used to tell us, Einstein's brain is kept somewhere and they are studying and he was using only some 2% of his capacity. Pata nahi wo kahan se aaya wo. Even in sleep, we use a lot of our brain. If that brain doesn't get used in sleep, then many physiological functions will not happen. So, brain also is used full physically. But the mind has so much of potential that mind does not get utilized, and that's why the training is required. Just like our physical body, there are so many things that we can do with our body in terms of fitness, in terms of flexibility when we have. There is so much that can be achieved. But we don't know, or if we know, we are still not tapping it. Same thing happens with our mind. And so, how do we tap the power of the mind? That is the spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge is called Adhyatma Vidya. Adhi means, one of the meaning is self, inside. Atma is the I, Adhi is inside. So that which is talking about I, that is Adhyatma. So Adhyatma is not only about some esoteric things or mystical things or things which are very, very transcendental. It is about I, who I am as an individual, and beyond that individuality, who I am. So, the whole science which helps us to train the mind. Even in the Gita, if you see, in the 6th chapter, Bhagavan was telling about meditation and many things. So, there Arjuna asks a question. And he tells 4 problems that he has. He says, "Oh Lord, my mind is very fickle." So, chanchalam hi mana Krishna, extremely fickle. Then he says, pramathi, it is very impulsive. Third, balavat, very strongly it gets attached. And dridham, it is unyielding. Even if I pull it back from something, it will again go back there. So, my mind has these 4 challenges, he says. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, pramathi, balavat, dridham. Tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. Controlling that mind, I find it is more difficult than even controlling a storm. A storm can be predicted. Generally, when they predict it, it doesn't happen. But still, there are some methods by which you can predict. Nowadays, they are still more accurate. Earlier, when they predicted, definitely it will not happen. You can do exact opposite. But the storm can be still predicted, but the mind, very unpredictable. When it will turn, what it will do, one doesn't know. And hence, what does the Lord say? How do we train this mind? Arjun gave 4 challenges and Bhagavan gave 2 solutions. He says, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Through practice and through dispassion, this mind can be trained. So only 2 things are required to make the mind strong. Practice and dispassion. So we will come to both of these. So when we go to a gym, one of the things that we have to do, see what is more important, weight loss or fat loss? Some of you didn't understand the question. Weight loss, fat loss. Why fat loss? Huh?
Too much of it can complicate your body.
Yeah. If I have excessive fat, then that is what creates so many other challenges. Weight loss is one aspect, which is important in some ways, no doubt. But if we have to choose between the 2, fat loss is much more important. And very interesting that fat is called stubborn fat, abdominal fat, visceral fat, whatever. The difficulty it is to lose that fat percentage. So what is fat? So I was thinking on this topic, so we made some nice acronyms, So burn your fats, build your abs. That's why one goes to the gym. Develop your spiritual muscle mass, do sadhana reps, and strengthen your core. If you do this much, gym journey is taken care of. What is it? Burn the fats, build the abs, develop spiritual muscle mass, do sadhana reps, and strengthen your core. 5 things. So burn fats means what? Burn these 4 things: fear, anger, tension, sorrow. These 4 make our mind weak. And many times we cling to these 4: fear, anger, tension, and sorrow. Suppose these 4 are not there in our life, how happy we will be? In daily life, you need some fat. Fat percentage can't come to 0, but that's a limitation of the example. So fear, anger, tension, and sorrow. And interesting thing is, human beings, we cling to these 4. If these are not there, we feel our life has some problem. Swamiji, there is nothing to be worried about. Everything is going fine. I think this is silence before the storm. Something is going to happen. Why some tension is required every day in my life? Why am I habituated to that? Peace, happiness, love. That is my true nature actually, even as a mind. So to make that mind strong, see this FAT, F-A-T-S, fear, anger, tension, sorrow. All these 4, in the Gita there is a beautiful expression that comes, and that is called Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. Very unique expression of the Gita. One who gives up attachment, that person will go beyond fear and anger, bhaya and krodha. Naturally, tension and sorrow will also go. So the one solution to make that mind strong is to drop attachment, because attachment is the cause of the 4. Well, whatever I am attached to, I am scared of losing that. It may be money, it may be status, it may be name, it may be any item, it may be a person, anything. I am very attached and I am scared of losing it. If I am attached to something and I want it very desperately and I don't get it, then anger. If I get it, there are so many tensions that I may have to face in the process of getting it. And when I actually lose it, sorrow. Or if I don't get it the way I want it, in some lesser degree I get it, again sorrow. So all the 4 are caused by one thing, attachment. And that's why these are called weaknesses of the mind. Fear, anger, tension, they are called as vikshepa, or they are called as shadripus, 6 enemies, or mala, 6 impurities. They will make the mind weak. But strange thing is, many times we glorify these. 6 of these impurities which are there: kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Selfishness, anger, greed, jealousy, intoxication, and pride. They all will make our mind weak. But in the world, they get glorified. Like simple example, greed gets glorified or not? People think that if you are content, you will become complacent, you cannot grow, the drive for achieving success will not be there. So greed gets glorified. And it is because of that greed, so much of corruption and so many other challenges come, but still that greed gets glorified. Because there is a wrong notion about contentment. So 6 impurities, anger. Somewhere deep down we justify it or not. In my position, somebody else also would have done the same thing. If I am not angry, then that person will take me for a ride. So anger continues in our mind. If we say, let me forgive and let go, then there is an insecurity, that somebody will repeat the behavior with me. I will become like a doormat, people will trample upon me. So compassion, forgiveness, letting go. In our mind, there is an opposite value given to each. What should be actually our strength that we consider as the weakness, and what should actually be a weakness which should be dropped that gets glorified. And so when the mind is in this state, it will be restless, fickle, etc. So the one solution for removing all these is what? Is drop attachment. And that's what the Lord said. When He said Vairagya, it means drop attachment. Now when we say attachment, what comes to your mind? The word attachment, what does it bring to your mind? Family, people, then things. Who knows? Correct. The natural response, they don't know yet. What is attachment? And what does detachment bring to your mind?
Peace.
Peace. Wow, very good. Loneliness. Solitude. Fear. One is scared. No, I can't be detached. The fear is I will stop being loving. If I am detached, I can't be loving. So we equate attachment to love and detachment to loneliness, disinterestedness, escapism. But Bhagavan says exactly opposite. What is attachment? Anything on which we depend psychologically for our sense of self-worth, for our happiness, that is the attachment. Psychological dependence is attachment. Gurudev used to call it as thought bondage. It is a thought bondage whereby I have bound myself to something or to some people or to some situation, saying that without this, I am not happy. Without the morning cup of coffee, my day goes very bad. Coffee I have to have. If I did not have coffee, for whatever reason, everybody on that particular day will bear the brunt of my wrath. All because of one cup of coffee. Attachment to anything. So many things we have attachment to. Parents want their children to be toppers. Nothing less than being the topper. Nobody will remember the second person. You have to be the first person only, and all those kind of pressures are created. And the child, that particular percentage you have to go at it, that particular institute you have to get into, and how many pressures we have created. All attachments. Whether the child is ready for that or not, whether the child is made for that or not, no idea. Even today, so many parents pressurize their children to take up particular careers. The child is not made for that, but that person wants, my child is a doctor, or my child is this, my child is that. Attachment in the mind. Psychologically, there is a dependence. Forget human beings. Even in a computer, virus comes through attachments only. And what to talk about anybody else? Even in a machine, attachment is that which brings trouble. So can we live without attachment?
So the statement of be attached in a detached way, I've heard. I still don't understand it.
It's a very nice sounding statement. Be attached in a detached way. We'll come to that. See, we have to know that we can live without attachments. Why? Because attachment is the cause of sorrow. What causes us maximum sorrow is my attachment only. If my son plays cricket, gives one nice shot and breaks the window of somebody, what will I go and say? बच्चा है, माफ कर दो, खेल खेल में हो गया, जानबूझ के नहीं किया. One will say that. No? Somebody else's child breaks my window, finished. He should be punished. Society must ban cricket, or they should put some net, something like that. No? That will happen. Because my child is a whole different thing altogether. My sorrow is directly proportional to my attachment. The more I am attached to something, the more I will be miserable if I don't get it. If you see the entire Mahabharata, one of the most powerful lessons of Mahabharata is be detached. Attachment caused the downfall of every single person in that. What was Dhritarashtra attached to? Very interesting is Dhritarashtra's character. Was he really attached to his son? It is apparently that he was attached to his son, but actually he is attached to himself. That what he feels about himself, he is attached to that self-image. My son has to be the king. He could not become the king because he was blind. Finally, fate played its part and he became the king. Still, did he stop feeling inferior? No. He kept feeling inferior throughout his life. That rubbed on to his child also. The child also grew up feeling inferior all the time, comparing himself with Bhim, full time. And attachment of Dhritarashtra towards his son finally led him to what? The entire Mahabharata war happened, all his children got destroyed. Yet did he take responsibility for it? Whom did he blame? Krishna Bhagavan. Krishna is the cause of my children's death, and so he wanted to actually even destroy Bhim, because Bhim killed all the 100 children. He wanted to embrace Bhim and in his tight embrace crush him to death. Now this is attachment. When we are attached to anything, we will bring about the downfall of that thing also and ourselves also. Dronacharya was attached to whom?
Ashwatthama.
Very good, Ashwatthama. Bhishma is attached to what? His oath that I will be loyal to whoever is on the throne. Duryodhana is attached to what? Kingdom. Karna, he had attachment, no doubt, but more for the kingdom. Power, he needs power. Yudhishthira is attached to what?
Truth.
Dharma. Every single person in Mahabharata is attached, and that attachment causes their downfall. We have to ask ourselves, what is it that I am attached to, and how can I overcome that? Attachment makes us very comfortable. Sometimes it feels good. I am attached to somebody, they give me support, I give them support, mutually we depend on each other. There is nothing wrong in helping each other, but dependency psychologically, that is the cause of all sorrow. To nothing there should be any dependency. That state is the state of freedom, that is the state of mental strength. And so, in the Gita, Bhagavan beautifully, that's why he mentions Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha, one who has dropped attachment. This knowledge of detachment, what Bhagavan gave, he gave this. So was Krishna Bhagavan a Grihasthi or not? Yes? You have any doubts? 16,008 wives he had. He was a Grihasthi. Arjun was a Grihasthi or not? Both of them are Grihasthis. And where are they both standing? In the middle of the battlefield, in Kurukshetra. And the knowledge that is being given by Krishna Bhagavan to Arjun is the knowledge of the Gita. In that 82 times or more he has said, be detached, be detached, be detached. So is the knowledge of detachment applicable to Grihasthis or not?
Yes.
थोड़ा जोर से बोलो.
Yes.
कंपल्शन है इसलिए मत बोलो, कन्विक्शन से बोलो. Detachment is required for all of us. The most beautiful example given in the Gita is of the lotus leaf. The lotus leaf, Padma Patram Ivam Bhasa, in the 5th chapter it comes. The lotus leaf is, it is born in water, stays in water, goes back into water. But can the water wet the lotus leaf? Not at all. That is the sadhana that one has to do to make that mind strong, that how do we live in the world, do whatever has to be done, do our duties, achieve whatever has to be achieved, but no bondage, no attachment. And that life is a life of happiness. Wherever there is attachment, there will be sorrow. Wherever there is detachment, there will be happiness. So if I truly want happiness, what should I do? Learn to be detached. So burn the fat, fear, anger, tension and sorrow. Burn it by dropping attachment. And how do I drop attachment? When I understand first and foremost this, that detachment is equal to happiness. Attachment is equal to sorrow. First, that conditioning I have to change. Detachment does not mean disinterest. Detachment doesn't mean escapism. Detachment only means psychological dependency is not there. And the easiest way to remember and practice detachment is, some of you may have heard me saying this many times, that is Wagh. Wagh means what? With or without. Wagh. With morning cup of coffee? Wagh. Without morning cup of coffee? Nahi aaya Wagh. So it is very difficult to practice. If your spouse smiles at you, wow. Spouse doesn't smile. If you get a particular promotion, wow. If you don't get, wow. If that attitude is there, then that attitude comes when I have done my best, and then I say whatever is the result I will accept. This attitude is not to not do our efforts. Don't say if I do exercise, wow, if I don't do exercise, wow. If I do sadhana, wow, I don't do sadhana, wow. If I go for work, wow, if I don't go for work, wow. It's not to misuse. In the Gita, Bhagavan says that, you do your duty. Tato yuddhaya yujyasva. You do your duty to the best. Then whatever result comes, you accept. That is detachment. One aspect. Second aspect, whatever I am attached to, what should I do? I should identify all the challenges that attachment brings in my life. Because many times what I am attached to, I exaggerate it and I only see certain things which I want to see, which give me some pleasure, which give me some kind of comfort. So I don't see what is the painful side of it. That is called pratipaksha bhavana. So if I am attached to any person, now I feel, oh, I am attached to my child, how can I not be attached to my child? Because there is a wrong notion in the mind that if I am detached means I will not take care of the child. And I am attached, that possessiveness, I derive all my identity from there. But I am not seeing that how that possessiveness binds me, binds the child. Sometimes I can't be objective. What I need to decide for my child, I am not able to see very clearly because I am biased. If Dhritarashtra had seen the difficulties that attachment brings, he would have been able to take the right decision as a king. So if I see the pain of the pleasure and I see the pleasure of the pain, that is called pratipaksha bhavana. Suppose I am attached to sleep. I don't want to get up early morning and do exercise. Now what happens? The pleasure that I derive from sleep, at that moment there is pleasure that I am deriving, but actually it is painful. That over a period of time, I put on weight, my flexibility is reduced, stamina is reduced, I have many other health challenges. Now if I see very clearly that the pain of the pleasure, and what is the pleasure of the pain? If I actually got up, it may be painful that I'm depriving myself of sleep or whatever it is, and then I'm going out to do exercise. But over a period of time, I will see that what is the joy of that, how my health has improved, and it will reflect in various parts of my life. Then the conditioning changes. So in our mind, we have to stop that conditioning. That's how the mind becomes strong. If you go to a gym also, they will tell you all that or not. What they will tell you to do, it is not going to be comfortable. Suppose you are lifting that weight 8 times. That is, you feel okay with 8 times. Now, but he will say now you have to do 2 more reps. 8. Gone. Another 8, somehow you will manage to do, but last 8, very difficult. No, it is not going, but he will push. If one goes through with that, then over a period of time, what will happen? All these muscles which were not utilized properly, they will start shaping up and metabolism will improve and many things will happen. So I have to push myself to see the pleasure of the pain and to see the pain of the pleasure. As long as I am in the comfort zone, my mind cannot become strong. I have to push myself out of the comfort zone. Every day do I ask myself that question, what did I do today to push myself out of comfort zone? Did I do one act? Just any one act. Otherwise, whole day goes only within the comfort zone. And small ways I can push myself out of comfort zone. Suppose I was running for 20 minutes. Today I can run for 25 minutes. If I am not liking a particular thing, suppose I don't like brinjal, and suppose in lunch today they have made bangan ka bharta, then to push myself to eat, then I pushed myself out of comfort zone. I don't like a particular person. I know that that person is going to come. If I go and at least speak to that person, I need not be very loving, but I just greet that person, Hari Om. I pushed myself out of comfort zone. Whatever I am attached to, if I know how to withdraw from that, and whatever I don't like, if it is good for me, I engage in that, then that is how the mind becomes stronger. So that is the way to drop attachment. So one is practicing Wagh attitude. Second is understanding very clearly the pleasure of pain and the pain of the pleasure. And third and very important aspect to make the mind strong is to have a goal. Even when you go to a gym, they will tell you a goal or not. Whatever is your goal, for certain weight loss that you want to do from this number of kilos to this number of kilos, or this fat loss I want to do, or whatever it is, that I must be able to build my stamina, I should be able to jog continuously for half an hour. Whatever it is, there has to be some goal. The moment there is a goal, all the faculties will get focused. So goals are different. Some people have career goals, that is one aspect. But what are my personal goals? To evolve, to improve. What are my spiritual goals? Nowadays people have relationship goals also. Together we will spend time. These are our relationship goals. Because otherwise we are two people living under the same roof, living independent life. We are like a train track, they never meet. So let us have relationship goals. Whatever it is, have some goals, because a goalless life sometimes is unfocused. Potential doesn't manifest. So what is a goal? Gurudev always used to say, higher the goal is, greater is the inspiration. Keep the goal very high. The greater the goals are, the higher the goals are, the more the potential will manifest, more focus will happen, and one will exceed all comfort zones, break out of all bounds and inhibitions. So all this comes under this aspect of detachment. When Bhagavan said Vairagya, we should not think of Vairagya as running away from life. It is engaging in life with the attitude of detachment. When Arjuna is told that you have to fight the war, he has so much of love for Bhishma and Drona, but when they have chosen the adharmic side, now he has to fight to protect dharma. What does he have to do? He has to kill them. There is pain in his heart, but he will still do his duty. That is called detachment. I may not like to do it, but if it has to be done, I will do it. When he is shooting arrows at at Bhishmacharya, and each arrow is piercing him finally, Bhishma is on the bed of arrows. Do you think Arjuna would have been shooting very easily? There will be tears in his eyes. He won't be able to handle it. But he is still doing it. That's the strength of spiritual knowledge. That is called detachment. My ego may tell me that don't do it, don't do it. But if it is the right thing to do, I have to do it. Bhagavan Ram, when he sent Sita ji away, was it a very pleasant decision? Many people say it was wrong. He is a chauvinist. He is not a good person. He was not a good husband. Why did he do this to Sita ji? But he is a Raja there. He has to play the role of a king, and the standards that he sets, people will follow. And what standard did he set? Nation above self. Very simple. Today, don't we see that is one of the causes of so much of sorrow in the world, is where we put the self before everything else. We have polluted the entire environment. Why? Because we have put self before nature. If there is corruption in so many aspects of life, it is because individual selfishness has increased so much more or not. So to put the self behind and put the nation above, that is the higher purpose. Sometimes it feels difficult, but if the goal is inspiring, one will do it. That is called sacrifice. Giving up the lower for the higher is called sacrifice. And what is the opposite called? If I give up the higher for the lower, selfishness or compromise. So what do I give up? So if the mind is able to understand that what is the higher goal in my life, and for that, what is the lower that I am letting go? This is the secret of attachment and detachment. So Gurudev always said, detach from the lower, attach to the higher. That is what we have to do actually. So the detached attachment, when we say, be attached to detachment, it is meaning that be committed to detachment. That detachment will bring all happiness in our life. So our equation should be detachment and love go together. If my child is not well, I take care of the child. I will do whatever best is required for the child. But I am not psychologically getting upset. Is that a good thing or not? That is called detachment. Detachment doesn't mean that my child is sick, I say, no, I am very detached, doesn't matter, jo hoga dekha jayega. That is not detachment, that is indifference. That is being irresponsible. That is not at all detachment. Detachment is doing what I have to do and then taking a back step. Our Guruji Swami Tejomayananji says very nicely, there are only two things that have to be. There are certain things that you can make it happen and certain things you have to let it happen. What is in your domain is to be done. Make it happen. What is not in your domain, what you have to do? Let it happen. Food you can eat, that is in your domain. Digestion, you have to let it happen. Luckily, Bhagavan did not give that responsibility to us. कि तुम अपना खाना digest करो. If Bhagavan gave us that responsibility, we had it. Many of you today would not be sitting here. Why? Swamiji, I am sitting and digesting my food. Time नहीं है. सत्संग नहीं आ सकते. क्यों? 6 दिन का accumulated food digestion बाकी है. संडे को हम बैठ के करेंगे पूरा digestion. Digestion has to happen. Let it happen. Same way, what we have to do. Rest of the things, let it happen. That makes the mind very strong. Otherwise, we are insistent on everything. What makes the mind weak is control. And control is something that, except my action, I have no control on anything else. But the best part is, except that I don't control anything else, I want to control everything else. I want to control people, I want to control situation, I want to control the responses of everyone. My action only is in my control. If I understand that, mind will become strong. So Nike has this tagline. What is the tagline of Nike? Just do it. So what is in my hand, I should just do it. And what is not in my hands, I should just drop it. So the formula to make the mind strong is JDI. Just do it. What you can, just do it. What you can't, just drop it. We don't have control over so many things. So this is burning the fats, dropping our attachment. How do I build my abs? In a gym, to build the abs, what do I have to do? Crunches. planks, all the exercises. We think that abs are a modern concept. Six-pack abs, modern concept. But it is much older. If you see Bhagavatam, the description of Bhagavan Vishnu's form, they will say there are lines on his abdomen like the banana leaf. Bhagavan is the progenitor of abs also. Now people have taken it up. Hanumanji, he had nice strong core and good abs he had. So what is abs? ABS. Abs means what? Alertness, balance, and guess what is the third one? It could be many things. Alertness, balance, and strength. So how to develop the abs? Alertness I have to develop. Simple way to develop alertness is what? Do one thing at a time. Bring the mind where the hands are. With full attention I have to do what I am doing in the present moment, here and now. Multitasking is a big myth. There is nothing called multitasking. What we do in the name of multitasking is actually only switch tasking. If I am eating the food and watching television, am I actually doing multitasking? My attention is switching between watching and eating. And in this, there is a lot of energy that is lost. Because the mind has to keep many things in picture. If it is doing one thing at a time, there is a focus. It blocks out many things. You can ask Sunita more details. She is an expert in that, mindfulness and all that. She will tell you executive control capability of the mind is compromised when multitasking is done. Ask her, it's a fact. I learned from her only. The psychological factors I learned from her. But we did nicely a workshop, on mindfulness, on camp. In that I learned. So the mind has the ability to block out certain things and focus. Now if I am doing more than one thing, the mind needs many things to be kept in the head. That's why we get tired so easily. We do multitasking because we think we have many things to achieve, we will save time and achieve more. Exactly ulta happens. We waste more time, we achieve lesser, we make more errors, we enjoy less. So in the Gita, Bhagavan says, Bahushakha yanantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. People whose mind goes dissipated into many, many branches, doing many things at the same time. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kuru nandana. Mind has to be single pointed. That mind which is not single pointed will not attain even samadhi. And so even for spiritual growth, doing one thing at a time is important. That's why the word for concentration in spirituality is what? Ekagrata. Eka means one, agra means point, single pointed. One thing at a time. And that will happen through smallest task of the day. One thing I find very irritating sometimes when they show in these movies and serials and all that. The fellow is brushing and still talking on the phone and they shoot that and then they show. I'm like, brush to karo chupchap. Oh, brushing ke time tumko kisi se baat karna hai. It's so pathetic. I'm seeing somebody's mouth being brushed and they're, kya hai ye? But that type of a culture is what is getting promoted. So from simplest tasks, brushing, taking bath, walking, talking, to the most complex whatever work I am doing, if I learn to do one thing at a time, that will what make the mind strong. Too many things will make the mind weak. So alertness comes with that. That do one thing at a time, do it fully with attention. Balance, very crucial to save energy. To build the strength, balance is very important. Means what? No extremes. Why? I read one PJ somewhere. Why did the fitness expert go to the bank? Very simple, because you have to work on the balance. Why was why was a yogi not able to use his vacuum cleaner? Very simple this is. Why was a yogi not able to use his vacuum cleaner? I'll give you a clue. It has something to do with the two solutions that Krishna Bhagavan gave Arjuna. Huh?
Because he was practicing detachment.
It attaches to him.
Because he lost all his attachments. So these attachments make us weak. Doing more than one thing at a time makes us weak. And going into the extremes. So we have to work on balance. In the Gita's 6th chapter it comes, Yukta hara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu. No extremes. Moderate quantity of food, exercise, sleep, work, recreation, spiritual practice. Everything in moderation. In today's life we go into extremes. That causes us so much of stress. So balance. Do everything in moderation which is permitted. Don't say I drink alcohol in moderation. Not acceptable. How much percentage of alcohol is good for the body? Pakka. Some people believe one peg a day, nothing will happen. Even that will be harmful. Enough research is done, you can check it out. So, moderation in what is permitted, what is good for me, very, very crucial. No swinging to extremes. So, alertness makes us strong, balance makes us strong, and actually strength training has to happen. So, what is the strength training for the mind? That is what Bhagavan says is abhyasa. In the commentary of Shankaracharya ji, if you read on that word of that 6th chapter, shloka, abhyasena tu kaunteya, in that Shankaracharya ji defines abhyas. What is abhyas there? It is practice of single pointedness, where he explains about japa. Taking up a mantra, chanting it, focusing the mind on the form with the devotion in the heart. If I chant, so the mind is engaged through bhakti, intellect is engaged through the form, speech is engaged through the chanting, body is engaged through the mala. So this alignment, if I practice, that is most important to develop strength. Whenever the mind wanders away, what do? Bring it back. Simple technique of japa. How many of you here do japa? Very few. Those of you who are not, if you like, please take it up. Simple mantras are there. Om, Namah Shivaya, Gayatri Mantra, Mrityunjay Mantra, so many. If you have a specific form that you love, then choose that particular form's name, that mantra. Start chanting. And it should be done with single pointedness, sitting down properly. Then at other times you do it, no problem. But sit down and do even just a small number, 27 times to start with. Good enough. If you can't do 108 immediately. But this training has to be done. Every single day, if I learn to focus my mind, quieten it consciously, connect to the divine, that's the biggest source of strength is the Lord in our own heart. And every single day, if I do the japa, it helps to connect, ground oneself, access all the strength, love, knowledge, everything in my heart. And the joy that one experiences through japa, once you taste that joy, then you will want to do it more and more and more. Because it is independent of any sense objects. You can experience it anytime. It is our own true nature. Not knowing that we are running outside. So japa, very simple technique to develop strength. See, physically, if you have to develop abs, you have to do more difficult things. Crunches you have to do, planks you have to do. Sometimes that becomes difficult for us. But mentally, when we have to make this mind strong, japa, alertness, equanimity, very, very powerful. Lastly, when we have to develop spiritual mass, then what do? We have to study. Swadhyaya has to happen. The more we study the scriptures systematically, the more strength we will develop. The more knowledge we have, the more understanding, the deeper our understanding is. Any one book also we can take and study properly and start living that. Then we will develop the spiritual mass. If you read Shankaracharya ji's Sadhana Panchakam, those are 40 instructions that he gives. That is his last composition in life. From the fundamental to the final, all instructions are given by him in that beautiful book. In that, the first instruction he gives is Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam. Study the scriptures daily. Whichever book I like, Bhagavad Gita or Ramayana or Mahabharata, we should take up our Puranas, our Itihasas, our Prakarana Granthas, Upanishads, study. And of course, study with a certain foundation. Straight away, don't take Upanishad and start studying because it will go bouncer. Then one will not understand. It is a proper spiritual science. And so, from foundation onwards, we build systematically once a week. Now, Ram Kumar ji holds a study class here, Parag ji holds a study class online. So those classes are those where systematically, step by step, certain books we read, discuss, reflect, apply in our life and build a base. So self-unfoldment, Kindle Life, Bhaja Govindam, Tattva Bodh, that way. Then come to Bhagavad Gita, step by step one builds. So that way if the study is there, sadhana is there, seva is there, every day if I am able to serve, whatever I am doing, I do it with the attitude of seva. Mind becomes very strong. Selfishness goes when there is selflessness. So all this will make our mind strong. And every day, see, in a gym you can go for how much time? For some time we can go. Half an hour, 1 hour, 1.5 hours. We can go for that much time. But in a mental gym, how long do we have to spend? Full time. Mental gym, I have to be there except when I am sleeping. From the time I am awake, the mental gym is on. So if I keep these few things in mind, the mind will definitely become strong and we can achieve many things individually. Such individuals make up a great community, a great country and a wonderful world. So may all of us practice these two, Abhyasa and Vairagya. And whatever we discuss now, all classifies and comes under these two. Through Abhyasa, the fickleness of the mind and the impulsiveness is controlled. Through Vairagya or detachment, the strong, unyielding nature of the mind is controlled. And that way we can achieve mind mastery and life mastery. So, I will conclude with a simple formula I give many times. Right now this IPL is, T20 World Cup is going on, right? So the formula is T20. What is T20? 3 times 20. Exercise 20 minutes a day, meditate 20 minutes a day, and study spiritual literature 20 minutes a day. 1 hour, is it too much to spend for myself? If I can't do 1 hour in a day, let me spread it over the whole week. Maybe 3 times exercise, 4 times spiritual study, whatever it is. But on the whole, if I take care of body, mind, intellect, that alignment is most important. And through T20 this can happen. So that's where I will stop. And anything you want to ask, share, welcome.
Any questions, please? So when you talk about goal orientation, that goal orientation often becomes attachment. So how do you reconcile the two, goal orientation without attachment?
So attachment and goal don't necessarily go together, but it can happen that yes, I get very attached to my goal. So I must be very clear about what is the goal I want to achieve, the purpose behind it, and then focus on the process, which is what the Gita tells us. When it says karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, it indicates that don't be anxious for the result. Focus on the result, no doubt. You have a specific result to expect. Many people think that don't expect a result. Gita says don't expect a result. You have no right to the result. Your right is only to the work. Gita doesn't say that. Gita says expect a result. Does Krishna Bhagwan have an expectation or not from the Mahabharata war? Or does he feel that ठीक है जिसको लड़ना हो लड़े जो होगा देखा जाएगा? If Pandavas win, it's okay. Pandavas win, wow. Kauravas win, wow. No. Dharma has to win. So once that expectation is clear, goal is clear, that Dharma has to win. Now there are so many other things which will bring anxiety if I am attached to that goal. If you actually see that Mahabharata war, Kauravas are absolutely, powerful in quantity also and in quality also. They have 11 Akshavini Sena. Pandavas have only 7. On their side, they have warriors who are absolutely having boons which are, very unusual. Bhishma will die only when he decides. Drona cannot be killed by anybody because he has taught everyone. Karna is having Shakti from Indra. Each one, if you see, Kripacharya is an immortal. On Pandava side, there are no such boons. Only Arjuna has one Pashupatastra, that's all. And they have Krishna Bhagwan who is not going to lift any weapon. So if one sees this, one will get anxious. Arey, how will I achieve? How will Dharma be protected? Resources are less, quality is not so great. Now that attachment is what brings that anxiety. But how do I not get attached to that? Focus on the process. Ensure that whatever is the steps to be taken, I take the steps for it. And most important, my self-worth is not attached to that goal. That is the most important. If that self-worth is connected to that goal, there will be attachment to it. If I know this is a role, in this role, this goal has to be achieved, this will help in XYZ ways, in a non-personal way, I will achieve it. If I feel that only after I get it, I am worthy, then I will be definitely attached. Then I can't accept the result. Then I will be disturbed. See, Krishna Bhagwan, when he went as a messenger, what was his goal? To ensure that war doesn't happen, there is peace. Was he successful in that? If he was attached to that goal, what he would have felt? मैं भगवान हूँ, मेरी भी बात कोई नहीं सुन रहा है. क्या मतलब हुआ भगवान होने का? What is the point? They didn't listen to me. They didn't bother. In fact, they tried to capture me. He would have gone into depression. But no anxiety to that, no attachment to that, because there is no connection of self-worth. I went as a messenger, I did my best, I tried to convince them individually as well as collectively. They didn't listen. That is their karma now. I did what is my duty, I did the best of my capacity. That detachment is very important. So goal is there, process one focuses on and disconnects the self-worth from the work. We always tell in Vedanta that disconnect your worth and your work. You are worthy no matter what you achieve or you don't achieve. How many people get into drugs, into depression, into suicide just because their work and worth has got connected? Young person doesn't get a particular percentage, goes up to a building and jumps. Recently that happened. One boy, young boy, he did a podcast with me because a very tragic incident happened in his life. His sister was in a college, gave the exam, results came, and when those results came, they were not up to her satisfaction. So they sent it for revaluation. But this girl has gone into such levels of depression, she committed suicide. In 1 hour's time, when the result came back, she had got the percentage that she wanted. You just think, 1 hour was the gap for that revaluation, but she couldn't handle her mind. For that 1 hour, jumped. This boy got very affected badly, her brother. And the principal was also very sad that, such a bright girl. So he told him that do something for the youth, start some podcast and bring people and empower the youth. So he started one. And the point is this, that work and worth has got attached. Now I will feel anxious. If I detach that, then the goal is for a different reason. It will to bring out my potential, it is to serve society, it is to benefit XYZ. Then there is no attachment to that. So that's the solution.
Attachment. How was Draupadi attached to something? She had a big.
Draupadi was very attached to her beauty and Draupadi was attached to Arjun specifically. Yeah. So when the Swargarohan happens, when they are going for the final journey after they finish ruling, etc., they hand over to Parikshit and they go. First one to fall is Draupadi. And one of the reasons, so Yudhishthir says that she fell because of her vanity, of her pride about her beauty. Thank you, everyone. So those of you who are new, do see if you can join the classes of Ram Kumarji, Paragji, and welcome to the Chinmaya family. We have many classes for children also, Bal Vihar, Shishu Vihar, and for elders also, study groups, Devi groups for ladies, bhajan programs, many things we have. So do participate in all of them. Our website is chinmayamission.com for the global Chinmaya Mission movement. We are there in 300 centers in about 25 countries. And also chinmayamissionmumbai.com is our Mumbai website for programs happening here. And there are YouTube channels you can visit, you can learn from them. Chinmaya channel is the global Chinmaya Mission YouTube channel. Chinmaya Mission Mumbai has a specific YouTube channel with that same name, and Chinmaya Shivam is my channel. So whichever you like, please visit and take part. So this Paduka Puja that happened in the morning is a part of this Sankalpa that we had taken. We celebrated Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayanji's 108th Jayanti year, just completed that in May, 8th May. So 109th year started now. And so we wanted to do 1008 pujas across the whole Mumbai. And so as a part of that, this Paduka Puja was done in different parts of Mumbai. We have been doing it. And by August 3rd, we will be completing our 1008. So this is a prasad for Paragji and his family. We invoke God's grace, Gurudev's blessings for all success, peace and happiness.
Wanted to thank Swamiji. Again, he spent his time, gave us so many insights. Now we have no excuse not to go to the gym, both physical and mental. But really, thanks a lot, Swamiji. For those who would like to come and see Swamiji can give prasad. Food will be served very shortly. Give us 10 to 15 minutes to set up. And we'll have it in Fungal system, so there will be 2 batches. So some people may need to wait for some time. So if you have an urgent commitment, you can be in the first round. Thank you very much.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhave Om Asatoma Sargamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।